The transport shuttle touched down with a soft hiss on the landing pad. Kim Woo stepped out into the warm afternoon air of Seoul. 3 years had passed since he last breathed Earth air. 3 years of war among the stars. 3 years of fighting aliens who wanted to destroy everything humans had built. Now he was home, but it did not feel like home anymore. Kim Woo looked down at his new school uniform. The blue and white colors felt strange after years of military gray. His reflection in the shuttle window showed a young man who looked older than his 19 years. His eyes had seen too much. His hands had done too much. The cybernetic arm beneath his left sleeve hummed quietly. Nobody could see it through the fabric. That was good. High school students did not need to know about such things. He picked up his single bag and walked toward Hanson High School. The building looked exactly the same as when he left. Red brick walls, green trees in the courtyard, students laughing and talking as they walked between classes. Everything was the same, but Kim Woo was different. A group of students noticed him walking through the front gate. They whispered to each other and pointed. Kim Woo heard bits of their conversation. Who is that guy? He looks too old to be a student. Maybe he got held back for bad grades. Look how he walks. So stiff. Kim Woo ignored them. He had learned to ignore many things during the war. Teenage gossip was easy compared to alien death screams. The hallways were full of noise. Students shouted to friends across the corridor. Lockers slammed shut. Phones buzzed with messages. To Kim Woo, it sounded like chaos. His military training made him want to establish order. But this was not a battlefield. These were not soldiers under his command. He found the main office and handed his transfer papers to the secretary. She looked at them with confusion. Kim Woo, age 19. Says here you have been away for 3 years due to special circumstances. What kind of special circumstances? Military service, Kim Woo said simply. The secretary raised her eyebrows. Military service. At 16. That is unusual. Kim Woo said nothing. There was no point explaining about the Galactic Defense Force recruitment program, about how they tested teenagers for combat ability, about how the war needed soldiers who could adapt quickly to alien tactics. Well, the secretary said after a moment, welcome back to school. Your first class is chemistry with Mr. Park. Room 204. Kim Woo found the classroom easily. His enhanced senses mapped the entire school layout within minutes of walking the halls. 2 exits from each room. Fire escape routes. Potential defensive positions. Old habits from staying alive on alien worlds. The chemistry teacher looked up as Kim Woo entered. Class, we have a new student. Kim Woo. Please introduce yourself. Kim Woo stood at the front of the room. 20 pairs of teenage eyes stared at him. They looked so young, so innocent. 3 years ago he had been like them. Now he felt ancient. My name is Kim Woo. I am 19 years old. I have been away for 3 years. I am here to finish my education. A girl in the front row raised her hand. Where were you for 3 years? Kim Woo hesitated. How could he explain fighting on planets where the sky was purple, where gravity was twice Earth normal, where alien weapons could melt through steel in seconds? I was serving my country, he said finally. The students exchanged glances. Some looked impressed. Others looked confused. One boy in the back row smirked and whispered something to his friend. Kim Woo took his assigned seat and tried to focus on the lesson about chemical reactions. But his mind kept wandering to other reactions. The way Zephyrian blood turned green when exposed to oxygen. The way their ships exploded in bright flashes against the darkness of space. The fire alarm suddenly rang. Students jumped up and began talking loudly. Some looked worried. Others seemed excited for a break from class. Kim Woo was on his feet instantly. His hand moved toward where his sidearm used to be. His enhanced hearing analyzed the alarm sound. Standard evacuation signal. Not an attack warning. Probably just a drill. But his classmates were moving too slowly, talking too much, clustering together near the door instead of moving in organized lines. If this were a real emergency, they would all be dead. Move faster, Kim Woo said without thinking. Stay low. Check your exits. The other students stared at him. A few laughed. Relax, dude, said the boy who had smirked earlier. It is just a fire drill. Kim Woo realized he was breathing hard. His heart was racing. These were not enemy soldiers. This was not a combat situation. But his body did not understand the difference anymore. He followed his classmates outside to the assembly area. They stood around talking and joking while teachers took attendance. Kim Woo scanned the perimeter automatically, checking for threats that were not there. A girl with kind eyes approached him. She had been sitting near the front in chemistry class. Are you okay? She asked. You looked pretty intense back there. Kim Woo looked at her more carefully. Park Hana, according to the name tag on her uniform. She seemed genuinely concerned rather than curious like the others. I am fine, he said, just taking things seriously. Most people do not take fire drills that seriously, Park Hana said with a small smile. You acted like it was a real emergency. Kim Woo almost smiled back. If only she knew what real emergencies looked like. Better safe than sorry, he said. The all-clear signal sounded and students began filing back into the building. Park Hana walked aside Kim Woo. So where did you really go for 3 years? She asked quietly. And do not say serving your country. That is what politicians say when they do not want to answer questions. Kim Woo looked at her again. This girl was sharper than she appeared. Somewhere far away, he said, doing things that needed to be done. Park Hana nodded like she understood. Maybe she did understand, a little bit. As they walked back to class, Kim Woo realized that finishing high school might be harder than fighting aliens. At least aliens were honest about wanting to kill you. Teenagers were much more complicated. Kim Woo's second day at Hansong High School started badly. He woke up at 500 hours out of habit. 3 years of military wake-up calls had trained his body to rise before dawn. But high school did not start until 800 hours. He spent the extra time doing push-ups and checking news feeds from the outer colonies. The war was officially over, but small conflicts still flared up across the galaxy. His old unit was probably dealing with Zephyrian stragglers near the Vega system. Kim Woo arrived at school 30 minutes early. The hallways were empty except for a few teachers preparing for the day. He used the time to memorize more of the building layout. Emergency exits, structural weak points, places where enemies could hide. He caught himself and shook his head. There were no enemies here, just teenagers worried about tests and dating. His first class was physics. Kim Woo took a seat in the back corner where he could see all entrances. The teacher began explaining basic orbital mechanics. Kim Woo had learned orbital mechanics by flying combat missions around gas giants. The textbook version seemed overly simple. A student raised her hand. Mr. Kim, how do spaceships actually work in real life? The teacher smiled. Well, most of what you see in movies is not accurate. Real space travel is much more complicated. Kim Woo almost laughed. He had piloted a dropship through an asteroid field, while enemy fighters shot plasma cannons at him. Movies made space combat look easy compared to reality. After physics came chemistry class with Mr. Park. Kim Woo noticed Park Hana sitting in her usual spot near the front. She gave him a small wave which he returned with a nod. Mr. Park was demonstrating a simple reaction between sodium and water. He dropped a small piece of sodium into a beaker. The reaction created a small flash and a popping sound. The sound triggered something in Kim Woo's mind. Suddenly, he was back on Kepler 442 bits, Zephyrian plasma grenades exploding around his position. The screams of wounded soldiers. The smell of burned metal. Without thinking, Kim Woo dove sideways and tackled the 2 students sitting nearest to him. All 3 hit the floor hard as Kim Woo covered them with his body. Take cover, he shouted. Incoming fire. The classroom went silent. 20 students stared at Kim Woo, who was lying on top of 2 very confused classmates. Mr. Park looked shocked. Kim Woo's enhanced hearing picked up the elevated heart rates around him. His cybernetic arm had automatically activated its defensive protocols. He could feel the servos humming under his sleeve. Reality crashed back into his mind. This was not a battlefield. That was not an explosion. It was just a chemistry demonstration. He scrambled to his feet and helped up the two students he had tackled. Both looked scared but unharmed. "I am sorry," Kim Woo said quietly. "I thought I heard something dangerous." One of the students he had protected was a thin boy named Nam Ta. Instead of being angry, Nam Ta looked grateful. "You moved so fast," Nam Ta said with wonder in his voice, "like you were trained for combat or something." Kim Woo did not answer. He returned to his seat while Mr. Park continued the lesson, but he could feel everyone staring at him. Whispers followed him for the rest of the day. At lunch, Kim Woo sat alone at a table near the back of the cafeteria. The food was strange after years of military rations. Too many flavors, too many choices. Park Hannah approached his table carrying her lunch tray. "Mind if I sit here?" she asked. Kim Woo gestured to the empty chair across from him. Park Hannah sat down and began eating her rice and kimchi. "So," she said after a few bites, "that was interesting in chemistry class." Kim Woo tensed. "I overreacted to a loud noise. It happens sometimes." "You move like a soldier," Park Hannah said simply. "My older brother is in the army. He does not move like that. You move like someone who has seen real fighting." Kim Woo studied her face. Park Hannah was not asking out of curiosity like the other students. She seemed genuinely concerned. "I have good reflexes," he said finally. Park Hannah nodded like she accepted his non-answer. They ate in comfortable silence for a few minutes. "The boy you protected today," Park Hannah said. "Nam Ta. He gets picked on a lot by Lee Jun and his friends." Kim Woo looked across the cafeteria. He spotted Nam Ta sitting alone at a corner table. 3 older students were standing around him. One was pointing at Nam Ta's lunch money while the others laughed. "Lee Jun thinks he runs this school," Park Hannah continued. "He has been bullying smaller students since middle school. Teachers look the other way because his father donates money to the school." Kim Woo watched Lee Jun grab Nam Ta's lunch money. Nam Ta looked scared but did not fight back. The scene reminded Kim Woo of stronger species preying on weaker ones across the galaxy. "Someone should stop him," Kim Woo said. "Many people have tried," Park Hannah replied. "Lee Jun always finds ways to get revenge. It is easier to just avoid him." Kim Woo thought about alien predators he had encountered during the war. They also picked on weaker prey, but predators understood one thing very clearly. When something stronger fought back, they learned to find easier targets. After lunch, Kim Woo had literature class. The teacher assigned students to read a poem about war and sacrifice. Kim Woo read about brave soldiers dying for noble causes. The words felt hollow compared to the reality of watching friends die in alien mud. A student raised his hand. "Mr. Lee, do you think war is ever really noble like in this poem?" The teacher smiled. "That is a good question. War is terrible, but sometimes necessary to protect what we love." Kim Woo wanted to laugh, or maybe cry. War was not noble. It was necessary sometimes, but it was never noble. It was dirty and brutal, and left scars that never healed. After class, Park Hannah caught up with him in the hallway. "You looked upset during literature class," she said. "The poem was unrealistic," Kim Woo replied. "How do you know what war is really like?" Park Hannah asked. Kim Woo stopped walking. He looked at this girl who kept asking questions that cut too close to the truth. "I read a lot of history books," he said. Park Hannah smiled. "You are a terrible liar, Kim Woo, but you are also kind. I saw how you protected those students today without thinking about yourself." As they walked toward their next class, Kim Woo realized that Park Hannah saw more than she let on. That could be dangerous, or it could be exactly what he needed. Behind them, Lee Jun watched from across the hallway. His eyes were cold and calculating as he studied the new student who had caught everyone's attention. Kim Woo was walking to his locker after school when he heard the sounds. A muffled cry, the thud of someone being hit, harsh laughter echoing from behind the gymnasium. His enhanced hearing pinpointed the location immediately. His cybernetic arm began running combat diagnostics automatically. 3 heartbeats, 1 elevated from fear, 2 steady from confidence. Kim Woo moved silently toward the sound. 3 years of moving through alien terrain had taught him how to approach without being detected. His footsteps made no noise on the concrete. He rounded the corner and saw exactly what he expected. Namta was pressed against the brick wall. His school uniform was torn and dirty. Blood ran from his nose. Lee Jun stood in front of him, with 2 other boys flanking him on each side. "I told you to bring money today," Lee Jun said in a calm voice. "Where is it?" Namta's hands shook as he reached into his pocket. "I only have lunch money for tomorrow. Please let me keep it." Lee Jun laughed. "You think you get to negotiate with me? Give me the money or this gets worse." One of Lee Jun's friends cracked his knuckles. "Maybe we should teach him a lesson anyway. Make sure he remembers for next time." Kim Woo analyzed the tactical situation in seconds. 3 targets. Lee Jun was the leader and primary threat. The other 2 were followers who would break if their leader went down. Standard pack behavior he had seen on a dozen alien worlds. His military training provided 17 different ways to neutralize all 3 targets within 10 seconds. His cybernetic arm could move fast enough to disable them before they could react. He knew exactly where to strike to cause maximum pain with minimum permanent damage. But these were not enemy soldiers. They were stupid teenagers who did not understand real violence. If Kim Woo used his full capabilities, he could easily kill all 3 by accident. Instead, he stepped into view and spoke in a normal voice. "Let him go." All 4 boys turned toward Kim Woo. Lee Jun's eyes narrowed as he recognized the transfer student everyone had been talking about. "This is not your business, new guy," Lee Jun said. "Walk away." Kim Woo took 3 steps forward. His movements were precise and controlled. Not the casual shuffle of a teenager, but the measured advance of someone who knew exactly how dangerous he was. "I am making it my business," Kim Woo said quietly. Lee Jun's friends shifted nervously. Something about Kim Woo's posture made them uncomfortable. He stood perfectly balanced with his hands relaxed at his sides. But there was a quality of stillness about him that reminded them of predators they had seen in nature documentaries. "You think you can take all 3 of us," Lee Jun sneered. But his voice had lost some of its confidence. Kim Woo looked at each of them in turn. His enhanced vision catalogued their physical capabilities. Lee Jun was strong but sloppy. His friends were bigger but slow. None of them had any real fighting experience. "I think you should leave Namtai alone," Kim Woo said. "Now." Lee Jun stepped forward aggressively. "Or what? You will tell a teacher. File a complaint with the principal." Kim Woo's cybernetic arm hummed so quietly that only he could hear it. Combat subroutines activated. Target acquisition systems came online. His enhanced reflexes prepared for violence. But he forced himself to remain still. "Or I will stop you myself," Kim Woo said in the same quiet voice. Something in his tone made Lee Jun hesitate. The transfer student did not sound like he was making threats. He sounded like he was stating facts. One of Lee Jun's friends tugged on his sleeve. "Maybe we should go. This guy gives me the creeps." But Lee Jun's pride would not let him back down in front of his followers. He swung a wild punch at Kim Woo's face. Kim Woo moved. His hand came up and caught Lee Jun's wrist before the punch could connect. His grip was gentle but completely immovable. Lee Jun tried to pull away but could not move his arm even a centimeter. "You are going to let Namta go," Kim Woo said calmly. "You are going to leave him alone from now on. And you are going to walk away." Lee Jun's face turned red as he struggled against Kim Woo's grip. "Let go of me." Kim Woo applied just enough pressure to make Lee Jun wince, Not enough to break bones, but enough to send a clear message. Do we understand each other? Kim Woo asked. Lee Jun nodded quickly. Kim Woo released his wrist and stepped back. The three bullies backed away slowly. They were trying to look tough, but Kim Woo could smell their fear. It was the same smell he had encountered from enemies who suddenly realized they were outmatched. This is not over, Lee Jun said as they retreated. Kim Woo watched them until they disappeared around the corner. Then he turned to Nam Ta, who was still pressed against the wall. Are you hurt? Kim Woo asked. Nam Ta touched his bleeding nose gingerly. I will be okay. Thank you for helping me. Kim Woo nodded. Lee Jun might try to get revenge. Be careful when you are alone. As they walked back toward the main building, Nam Ta looked at Kim Woo with curiosity. How did you move so fast? Nam Ta asked. And how did you make Lee Jun stop fighting just by grabbing his wrist? Kim Woo thought about how to answer. He could not explain about enhanced reflexes and cybernetic strength. He could not talk about combat training on alien worlds. I have been in some fights before, he said finally. Nam Ta nodded like this explained everything. But Kim Woo knew it explained nothing at all. Behind them, hidden in the shadows near the gymnasium, someone else had been watching the entire confrontation. Choi Mira stepped out from behind a concrete pillar where she had been studying alone. She was the smartest student in the school. Top grades in every subject, plans to study engineering at Seoul National University, and she had just witnessed something that did not fit into any normal explanation. Choi Mira pulled out her phone and opened a search browser. She began typing keywords. Military training, enhanced reflexes, combat experience, transfer students with unusual backgrounds. She was going to figure out exactly who Kim Woo really was. In the distance, the sound of Lee Jun's angry voice carried across the school grounds. He was already planning his revenge against the transfer student who had humiliated him. Kim Woo walked Nam Ta to the school gates, unaware that his secret was already starting to unravel. Kim Woo was sitting in mathematics class when the sky changed color. It happened during third period on a Tuesday morning. Mrs. Song was explaining quadratic equations when the sunlight streaming through the windows suddenly turned purple. Students looked up from their textbooks with confused expressions. That is strange, Mrs. Song said, walking to the window. Maybe there is a solar eclipse today. Kim Woo's blood turned to ice. He knew that color. He had seen it before on 17 different worlds across the Zephyrian Empire. Purple light meant one thing. Zephyrian scout ships. His enhanced hearing picked up a sound that made his heart race, a low humming that grew louder each second. The distinctive engine noise of alien atmospheric craft. Kim Woo was on his feet before his classmates even realized something was wrong. Everyone get away from the windows, he shouted. Get to the center of the room now. His classmates stared at him like he had lost his mind. Mrs. Song frowned. Kim Woo, please sit down. You are being disruptive. Those are enemy ships, Kim Woo said, pointing at the window. We need to evacuate immediately. Several students laughed. One boy named Min Ho rolled his eyes. Enemy ships? Right. I think someone watches too many science fiction movies. The humming sound grew louder. Kim Woo's cybernetic arm was already running full combat diagnostics. His enhanced vision could see the dark shapes moving through the purple clouds above the school. This is not a joke, Kim Woo said urgently. Those are Zephyrian attack craft. They are here for revenge. Mrs. Song looked concerned, but not about alien invasion. She was worried about Kim Woo's mental state. Kim Woo, I think you should visit the counselor's office. You seem to be having some kind of episode. Kim Woo wanted to scream. How could he explain that Earth was under attack when no one would believe him? How could he make them understand that the war had followed him home? Through the window, he could see the first scout ship descending toward the school grounds. Its hull was dark gray with glowing purple engines. Weapon ports along its sides were already opening. They are targeting the school, Kim Woo said, his voice cutting through the classroom chatter. Everyone needs to move to the interior hallways right now. The first energy blast hit the science building across the courtyard. The explosion shattered windows throughout the school. Students screamed as purple fire consumed the chemistry lab where Kim Woo had attended class just yesterday. Smoke and alien plasma filled the air. Mrs. Song stood frozen in shock. Her textbook fell from her hands as she stared at the burning building. Kim Woo's training took over completely. His voice changed from panicked student to combat commander. "Listen to me carefully," he barked with absolute authority. "Move to the center hallway immediately. Stay low and stay together. Do not look out any windows. Do exactly what I say if you want to live." Something in his tone made everyone obey without question. Even Mrs. Song followed his orders as he led them out of the classroom. In the hallway, chaos was spreading. Students ran in every direction. Teachers shouted conflicting instructions. The fire alarm was ringing, but it was pointless now. Kim Woo could hear more ships landing around the school perimeter. Heavy footsteps that were not human. The distinctive sound of Zephyrian combat armor. He grabbed Park Hannah as she ran past. "Find all the younger students," he told her. "Get them to the basement. The old bomb shelter under the cafeteria." "How do you know about the bomb shelter?" Park Hannah asked, her eyes wide with fear. "I studied the building plans," Kim Woo said, which was true. He had memorized every detail of the school layout on his first day. "Can you do this?" Park Hannah nodded and ran toward the freshman classrooms. Kim Woo spotted Nam Tai pressed against a locker, paralyzed with terror. "Nam Tai," Kim Woo called, "I need you to help coordinate the evacuation. You know this school better than I do." "I cannot," Nam Tai whispered. "I am too scared." Kim Woo grabbed Nam Tai's shoulders and looked directly into his eyes. "Fear is normal," Kim Woo said. "But right now these people need our help. Can you be brave for them?" Nam Tai took a deep breath and nodded. Another explosion rocked the building. This time it was closer. The gymnasium was on fire. Through the smoke, Kim Woo could see the first Zephyrian soldiers entering the main hallway. They were 7 feet tall with gray skin and wearing advanced combat armor. Their plasma rifles glowed with deadly energy. The aliens were not here to conquer. They were here to kill, to make Earth pay for humanity's role in destroying their empire. And they had chosen the school as their primary target because it represented everything they hated about human civilization. Education, growth, the future. Kim Woo realized that his old life and his new life were about to collide in the worst possible way. His classmates were about to discover exactly who he really was. But first, he needed to keep them alive. Choi Mira appeared at his side, her face pale but determined. "I know you are not just a transfer student," she said quietly. "Whatever you really are, we need your help." Kim Woo looked at this brilliant girl who had figured out his secret. Then he looked at the alien soldiers advancing down the hallway toward innocent teenagers. The choice was simple. "Stay close to me," Kim Woo said, "and do exactly what I tell you." He walked toward his locker with steady steps. His classmates watched in confusion as he calmly opened it and reached inside. When Kim Woo turned around, he was no longer pretending to be a normal high school student. In his hands was a military-grade plasma rifle. His cybernetic arm gleamed silver in the emergency lighting. His eyes held the cold focus of a trained killer. "My name is Kim Woo," he announced to the shocked students around him. "I am a sergeant in the Galactic Defense Force, and I am going to get you out of here alive." The war had come to Earth, and Kim Woo was ready to fight. Kim Woo's plasma rifle hummed to life with a sound his classmates had never heard before. Blue energy coursed through the weapon's core as he checked its charge level with practiced efficiency. The students around him stared in shock. Mrs. Song's mouth hung open as she tried to process what she was seeing. Her quiet transfer student was holding military equipment that looked like something from a science fiction movie. "That cannot be real," Min Ho whispered. Kim Woo's cybernetic arm whirred softly as he activated its combat systems. The silver metal gleamed under the emergency lights. Several students gasped when they realized his left arm was not human. "Everyone listen carefully," Kim Woo said, his voice carrying the authority of someone who had commanded soldiers in life-or-death situations. "The Zephyrians are here for revenge. They want to kill as many humans as possible before Earth's defenses can respond." Another explosion shook the building. Dust fell from the ceiling as alien plasma fire continued to tear through the school. Park Hana had returned from evacuating the younger students. She looked at Kim Woo's weapon with wide eyes, but no fear. "What do you need us to do?" she asked simply. Kim Woo felt grateful for her trust. At least one person was ready to follow his lead instead of asking questions. "We need to get everyone to the basement shelter," Kim Woo said, "but the main hallways are compromised. We will have to move through the back corridors." Nam Tai pointed toward the eastern wing. "There is a service corridor that leads to the kitchen. From there we can reach the basement." "Good," Kim Woo nodded. "You and Park Hana get the students moving. Stay in groups of 5. Keep low and stay quiet." Choi Mira stepped forward. "What about you?" Kim Woo checked his weapon's targeting system. "I am going to slow down their advance. Give you time to evacuate. You cannot fight all of them alone." Choi Mira protested. Kim Woo looked at her with eyes that had seen too much combat. "I have fought worse odds." The sound of Zephyrian boots grew closer. Kim Woo could hear their guttural voices speaking in their harsh alien language. They were methodically clearing each classroom, looking for students to kill. "Go now," Kim Woo ordered. "I will catch up." Park Hana grabbed Mrs. Song's arm and led her toward the service corridor. Nam Ta helped guide other students who were still in shock, but Choi Mira hesitated. "I know you were a soldier," she said quietly, "but what kind of soldier carries weapons like that?" Kim Woo's enhanced hearing detected 3 Zephyrians approaching from the main hallway. He had maybe 30 seconds before they reached this position. "The kind that fights aliens," he said simply. Choi Mira's eyes widened as the implications hit her, but there was no time for more explanations. Kim Woo moved to the corner where the hallways intersected. He pressed his back against the wall and activated his rifle's tactical display. The weapon's sensors showed him exactly where the enemies were located. 3 targets, standard Zephyrian infantry with plasma weapons and combat armor. They were moving in a loose formation, overconfident because they thought they were hunting defenseless civilians. Kim Woo waited until they were perfectly positioned. Then he stepped around the corner. The first Zephyrian barely had time to register the human with the military weapon before Kim Woo's plasma bolt punched through its chest armor. The alien collapsed with a gurgling cry. The second Zephyrian raised its rifle, but Kim Woo was already moving. His cybernetic arm allowed him to aim and fire with superhuman speed. Another precise shot dropped the second alien. The third Zephyrian managed to get off a wild shot that scorched the wall near Kim Woo's head. But Kim Woo's enhanced reflexes let him dodge while simultaneously returning fire. His plasma bolt caught the alien in the center of its torso. All 3 enemies were down in less than 5 seconds. Kim Woo quickly searched their bodies and took extra energy cells for his weapon. He also grabbed one of their communication devices. His enhanced hearing let him understand their harsh language. More Zephyrian squads were spreading through the school. At least 20 soldiers total. They had orders to kill every human they found and then burn the building to the ground. Kim Woo made his way through the service corridors toward the basement. He found his classmates huddled in the old bomb shelter that had been built during the Cold War. The concrete walls were thick enough to stop most energy weapons. Park Hana looked relieved when she saw him. "We heard shooting upstairs. 3 hostiles eliminated," Kim Woo reported automatically. Then he caught himself. These were not soldiers under his command. They were scared teenagers. "I stopped some of the aliens," he said more gently, "but there are more coming." Nam Tai was helping to calm some of the younger students who were crying. Mrs. Song sat in a corner, still trying to process everything that had happened. Choi Mira approached Kim Woo with a determined expression. "I have been thinking," she said. Regular soldiers do not carry weapons like yours, and they definitely do not have cybernetic implants. You were part of something special, were you not? Kim Woo looked at this brilliant girl who refused to stop asking the right questions. I was part of the 7th Special Operations Brigade, he said quietly. We fought on the front lines against the Zephyrian Empire. Choi Mira's eyes went wide. The Ghost Brigade. I read about them in news reports. They said you were legends. Kim Woo almost smiled. We were just soldiers doing our job. But even as he said it, he knew it was not entirely true. The 7th Brigade had been special. They were the unit Earth sent when regular forces could not get the job done. They were the soldiers who won impossible battles and survived unwinnable odds. And now one of those legendary warriors was standing in a high school basement, protecting classmates who still thought of him as just a transfer student. The irony was not lost on Kim Woo. Above them, more explosions echoed through the building. The Zephyrians were getting frustrated. They had expected to find helpless victims, not an empty school with signs of organized resistance. Kim Woo knew they would eventually find the basement. When that happened, he would have to make a choice. He could try to hide and hope the aliens moved on, or he could do what he was trained to do. Fight back with everything he had. Looking at the scared faces of his classmates, Kim Woo realized the choice had already been made. The basement shelter grew quiet except for the distant sounds of alien weapons fire above. Kim Woo sat against the concrete wall, checking his plasma rifle while his classmates watched him with a mixture of awe and fear. Park Hannah sat down beside him. The 7th Brigade, she said softly. My brother mentioned that unit once. He said they were sent to places where other soldiers could not survive. Kim Woo nodded without looking up from his weapon. We went where the fighting was worst. How old were you when you joined? Choi Mira asked from across the shelter. 16, Kim Woo replied. Same age as most of you now. Mrs. Song finally found her voice. 16 years old. How is that possible? Children cannot join the military. Kim Woo looked at her with tired eyes. The Galactic Defense Force had special recruitment programs. They tested teenagers for combat aptitude and enhanced reflexes. The war needed soldiers who could adapt quickly to alien tactics. Nam Tai was sitting with a group of younger students, trying to keep them calm. But he was listening to every word. What kind of tests? Nam Tai asked. Kim Woo thought back to those early days. The physical trials, the psychological evaluations, the genetic screenings that identified candidates for cybernetic enhancement. They tested everything, Kim Woo said. Reaction time, problem solving under stress, ability to learn new weapon systems. Most importantly, they tested whether you could make life or death decisions without freezing up. And you passed, Choi Mira said. I scored in the top 1%, Kim Woo admitted. They said I had natural tactical instincts. Park Hannah looked at his cybernetic arm. Is that when they gave you the enhancements? Kim Woo flexed his artificial fingers. The metal joints moved with perfect precision. I lost my original arm on Kepler 442 bits, he said quietly. Zephyrian plasma cannon took it off at the elbow. The military doctors replaced it with something better. The students stared at the silver arm that looked more advanced than anything they had seen in movies. Better how? Min Ho asked, his earlier skepticism replaced by genuine curiosity. Kim Woo demonstrated by picking up a piece of concrete rubble. His cybernetic fingers crushed it to powder without effort. Enhanced strength, built-in targeting systems, direct neural interface with compatible weapons, reaction time faster than any normal human. That is incredible, Choi Mira breathed, but also terrifying. Kim Woo looked at her seriously. It is both. The enhancements made me a better soldier, but they also made me less human in some ways. Mrs. Song shook her head in disbelief. This is too much. Alien wars. Cybernetic soldiers. It sounds like science fiction. 3 years ago, I would have agreed with you, Kim Woo said. But the galaxy is much bigger and more dangerous than most people realize. A new sound echoed from above. heavy footsteps moving systematically through the building. The Zephyrians were conducting a room-by-room search. Kim Woo stood and moved to the shelter entrance. His enhanced hearing let him track the alien movements with perfect accuracy. "They are getting closer," he announced. "We have maybe 10 minutes before they find this location." Park Hannah stood as well. "What do we do?" Kim Woo turned to face the group. In the dim emergency lighting, his cybernetic arm gleamed like a weapon itself. "I am going to tell you the truth about what happened during the war," he said. "And then I am going to teach you how to fight." The students leaned forward, hanging on his every word. The Zephyrian Empire controlled half the galaxy when Earth joined the war. Kim Woo began. They had superior technology and thousands of years of military experience. Every species they encountered either surrendered or was destroyed. "But not humans," Namta said. "Not humans," Kim Woo confirmed. "We had something they did not expect. We adapt. We learn. We refuse to give up even when the situation seems hopeless." He pointed upward toward the sounds of alien soldiers. "Those Zephyrians up there are from the same units I fought on 17 different worlds. They know my tactics. They know how humans fight. But they made one critical mistake." "What mistake?" Choi Mira asked. Kim Woo's eyes grew cold. "They assumed I would be alone." He began moving around the shelter, examining the weapons and equipment they had available. Some old tools from the maintenance closet, chemistry supplies from the destroyed lab, basic materials that could be turned into weapons by someone who knew how. "The 7th Brigade earned a nickname during the war," Kim Woo continued as he worked. "The Zephyrians called us the ghost of Kepler 442 bits. We appeared wherever they least expected us. We struck at their weak points and disappeared before they could respond." "You were famous," Park Hannah said with wonder. "I was feared," Kim Woo corrected. "There is a difference." He finished his examination of their resources and turned back to the group. "But I was never fighting alone. I always had my squad. Soldiers who trusted each other completely, who would do anything to protect their teammates." Kim Woo looked at each of his classmates in turn. "Right now, you are my squad," he said, "and I am going to teach you how to be soldiers." Mrs. Song stood up shakily. "These are children. You cannot ask them to fight aliens." Kim Woo's expression softened slightly. "I am not asking them to fight. I am asking them to survive. There is a difference." The sound of alien voices grew louder. The Zephyrians had found the service corridors. "First lesson," Kim Woo said urgently. "In combat, fear is normal. But panic will get you killed. Stay calm. Listen to orders. Trust your teammates." He handed Park Hannah a modified emergency flare. "This will work like a flash grenade against Zephyrian vision. Choi Mira, you understand chemistry. Can you make more of these?" Choi Mira nodded and began gathering supplies. "Nam Tai," Kim Woo continued, "you know this building better than anyone. I need you to identify alternate escape routes." As his classmates began preparing for battle, Kim Woo felt something he had not experienced since leaving the military. He felt like he had a real squad again. The Zephyrians were coming. But this time, Kim Woo would not be fighting alone. Kim Woo moved through the basement shelter with the focused efficiency of a combat veteran. His enhanced hearing tracked the Zephyrian search teams as they worked their way closer to the hidden entrance. "Park Hannah," he called quietly, "you have the best communication skills. You are now my second in command. Your job is to relay information between the teams." Park Hannah nodded seriously. "What teams?" Kim Woo pointed to different areas of the shelter. "We are going to divide into 4 groups, each with a specific mission." He turned to Choi Mira, who was already mixing chemicals from the destroyed lab supplies. "Choi Mira leads the weapons team. You understand science better than anyone here. Make us tools we can use to fight." Choi Mira looked up from her work. "I can create flash bombs and smoke grenades using these cleaning supplies. Maybe some acid that will eat through their armor." "Perfect," Kim Woo said. "Nam Tai, You lead the reconnaissance team. Take 3 students who know the building layout. Your job is to find escape routes and report enemy positions. Nam Ta selected Min Ho and 2 other students. Despite his earlier fear, Nam Ta was moving with new confidence. Having a clear mission seemed to calm his nerves. Mrs. Song, Kim Woo continued, you are in charge of the civilians. Keep the younger students calm and ready to move when we give the signal. Mrs. Song wanted to protest, but something in Kim Woo's tone stopped her. This was not the confused transfer student from her math class. This was a military commander who expected his orders to be followed. What about Lee Jun? Park Hana asked. Kim Woo looked across the shelter where Lee Jun sat with several of his usual followers. The school bully had been surprisingly quiet since the attack began. Lee Jun, Kim Woo called. Come here. Lee Jun approached slowly. His earlier arrogance was gone, replaced by uncertainty. You have spent years establishing dominance over other students, Kim Woo said bluntly. That means you understand intimidation and control. I need someone who can be aggressive when necessary. Lee Jun's eyes widened. You want me to fight aliens. I want you to protect the younger students, Kim Woo clarified. If any Zephyrians get past our defenses, your job is to be their worst nightmare. Can you do that? Lee Jun looked at the frightened freshman students huddled near the back wall. Something shifted in his expression. Yes, he said firmly. I can do that. Kim Woo nodded approvingly. Even bullies could become protectors when given the right motivation. The sound of alien voices grew louder. Kim Woo's cybernetic arm automatically activated its combat systems as he analyzed the approaching threat. They have found the service entrance, he announced. Everyone to your positions. Choi Mira distributed her improvised weapons, flash bombs made from camera bulbs and cleaning chemicals, smoke grenades created from fire extinguisher parts, acid containers that could dissolve Zephyrian armor plating. Nam Tae's team took positions near ventilation shafts that led to other parts of the building. They could observe enemy movements and report back through hand signals. Lee Jun positioned himself between the younger students and the main entrance. His followers flanked him on both sides, ready to fight despite their obvious fear. Park Hana stayed close to Kim Woo, ready to coordinate between all the teams. The first Zephyrian appeared at the shelter entrance. Kim Woo raised his plasma rifle, but did not fire immediately. He wanted to see how many enemies they were facing before revealing their position. 3 aliens entered the basement, then 5, then 8. Too many for a direct assault. Kim Woo made rapid hand signals to his teams. Wait, let them get deeper into the shelter, then strike from multiple directions. The Zephyrians moved cautiously through the basement, their plasma weapons scanning for targets. They could sense that humans had been here recently, but could not locate them in the maze of old storage rooms and equipment. Kim Woo waited until the aliens were perfectly positioned. Then he gave the signal. Choi Mira's team threw flash bombs from 3 different directions. The basement filled with blinding light and choking smoke. The Zephyrians roared in confusion as their enhanced vision systems overloaded. Kim Woo opened fire with precise shots that dropped 2 aliens immediately. His cybernetic targeting system let him shoot accurately even through the smoke. Nam Tae's team began throwing improvised weapons from the ventilation shafts above. Pieces of metal and chemical containers rained down on the disoriented aliens. Lee Jun charged forward with a battle cry, swinging a metal pipe at the nearest Zephyrian. His followers joined the attack with whatever weapons they could find. The basement became a chaos of smoke, flashing lights, and desperate combat. But it was organized chaos. Every student knew their role and executed it perfectly. Park Hana coordinated the assault with hand signals, making sure each team struck at the right moment. Her clear thinking under pressure impressed even Kim Woo. Within minutes, all 8 Zephyrians were down. Some were unconscious from the chemical weapons. Others were seriously wounded by improvised acid bombs. 2 were dead from Kim Woo's precise plasma shots. As the smoke cleared, Kim Woo looked around at his improvised squad. They were dirty and scared, but victorious. More importantly, they were working together like a real military unit. Outstanding, Kim Woo said with genuine pride. You fought like veterans. Choi Mira was already working to disable the alien weapons and communication equipment. Their commanders will know this squad is missing. More will come looking. Then we better be ready for them, Park Hannah said firmly. Kim Woo smiled for the first time since the attack began. These teenagers were learning faster than some trained soldiers he had known. Nam Tae reported from his observation post. I can see more alien troops surrounding the school, but I also see something else. What? Kim Woo asked. Nam Tae's face broke into a grin. Earth defense ships approaching from the east. The cavalry is coming. Kim Woo felt a surge of hope, but he also knew the hardest fighting was still ahead. The Zephyrians would make one final desperate assault before the reinforcements arrived. And this time, they would not underestimate the humans they were fighting. The ground shook as a massive Zephyrian transport ship landed in the school courtyard. Kim Woo watched through a broken window as alien reinforcements poured out of the vessel. But these were not ordinary soldiers. At the center of the formation stood a figure that made Kim Woo's blood run cold. Commander Veltar, 7 feet tall with scarred gray skin and armor decorated with the marks of countless battles. Kim Woo recognized him immediately. We need to evacuate now, Kim Woo said urgently. Everyone moved to the secondary exit. Park Hannah looked at his tense expression. What is wrong? You look like you have seen a ghost. Worse, Kim Woo replied. I have seen my old enemy. Through the broken window, Commander Veltar's voice boomed across the school grounds. He was speaking in perfect Korean, his words amplified by alien technology. Human students of this learning facility. I am Commander Veltar of the Zephyrian Empire. I have come for one specific target. Send me the soldier you call Kim Woo, and the rest of you will be allowed to live. The students in the basement looked at Kim Woo with shock. The alien commander knew his name. Ghost of Kepler 442 bits, Veltar continued. I know you are here. Your tactical signature is unmistakable. You cannot hide from me. Choi Mira grabbed Kim Woo's arm. You know that alien. Kim Woo nodded grimly. Veltar commanded the Zephyrian forces on 3 different worlds where I fought. He is one of their best tactical minds, and he has a personal grudge against me. Why? Nam Tae asked. Kim Woo thought back to their last encounter on the moon of Arcturus Prime. The desperate battle where Kim Woo's squad had destroyed Veltar's entire fleet using nothing but determination and superior tactics. I cost him his promotion to Supreme Commander, Kim Woo said simply. In Zephyrian culture, that is worse than death. Lee Jun stepped forward. So we fight him together, like we did with the others. Kim Woo shook his head. Veltar is different. He has studied human combat methods for years. He knows how we think and fight. If I stay here, he will kill everyone to get to me. Then what do you suggest? Park Hannah asked. Kim Woo looked at his improvised squad. These brave teenagers who had followed him into battle without question. They deserved better than to die because of his past. I go out there alone, Kim Woo said. Face him in single combat. It is the only way to protect you. That is suicide, Choi Mira protested. You said yourself he is one of their best commanders. I am better, Kim Woo replied with quiet confidence. Mrs. Song spoke up from where she was comforting the younger students. Kim Woo, you are just one person. How can you defeat their entire army? Kim Woo checked his plasma rifle one final time. Because I am not just one person anymore. I am the ghost of Kepler 442 bits. And today, everyone will remember why the Zephyrians fear that name. He moved toward the basement exit, but Park Hannah blocked his path. We are your squad now, she said firmly. Squads do not abandon each other. Kim Woo felt his throat tighten with emotion. These students had learned more about being soldiers in one day than some recruits learned in months. "This is my fight," he said gently. "But I need you to do something for me." "What?" Namtai asked. "When the Earth Defense Forces arrive, tell them what happened here. Tell them that ordinary students became heroes today. Tell them that humanity's strength comes from people who refuse to give up." Kim Woo walked to the exit, but turned back one last time. "And tell them that the ghost of Kepler 442 bits kept his promise. I protected what mattered most." Before anyone could stop him, Kim Woo was gone. He emerged from the school building into the courtyard where Commander Veltar waited. The alien commander was surrounded by 20 elite guards, all armed with advanced plasma weapons. "So," Veltar said in his deep voice, "the famous ghost finally shows himself." Kim Woo walked forward until he stood 20 meters from his old enemy. His cybernetic arm hummed with power as it interfaced with his weapon systems. "Hello, Veltar," Kim Woo said calmly, "ready to lose again?" The alien commander's eyes blazed with hatred. 3 years I have waited for this moment. 3 years of planning my revenge against the human who destroyed my career. "Your career was destroyed because you underestimated us," Kim Woo replied. "You still do not understand what makes humans dangerous." Veltar gestured to his guards. "I have 20 elite warriors. You have 1 primitive weapon. How exactly am I underestimating you?" Kim Woo smiled coldly. "Because you think this is about superior numbers or better technology. But it never was." He raised his plasma rifle and activated his cybernetic targeting systems. "This is about who wants to win more." Commander Veltar roared and charged forward, his massive alien blade gleaming in the afternoon sun. His guards opened fire with plasma weapons that could melt through steel. Kim Woo moved like liquid lightning. His enhanced reflexes let him dodge between the energy blasts while returning precise shots. His cybernetic arm calculated trajectories faster than any organic brain could process. The first guard fell before Kim Woo even seemed to aim. The second collapsed while firing wildly. The third tried to flank him, but Kim Woo had already predicted the movement. As the battle raged, something amazing happened. Through the broken school windows, Kim Woo could see his classmates watching. They were not hiding in fear. They were cheering him on like he was their hero. And maybe he was. Commander Veltar reached Kim Woo and swung his massive blade. But Kim Woo was no longer the scared 16-year-old who had first enlisted. He was a veteran of 17 campaigns, a soldier who had learned to turn impossible odds into victory. The ghost of Kepler 442 bits had come home, and he was ready to remind the galaxy why humans never surrender. Commander Veltar's blade crashed down, where Kim Woo had been standing a split second before. The alien warrior was powerful, but Kim Woo had learned to use speed and intelligence against brute force. Kim Woo rolled to the side and fired a plasma bolt that burned through Veltar's shoulder armor. The commander roared in pain and anger, but did not slow down. "You cannot run forever, Ghost," Veltar snarled. "Face me like a true warrior." Kim Woo stopped moving and stood perfectly still. His cybernetic arm gleamed in the sunlight as he raised his weapon. "I have been facing warriors like you my entire life," Kim Woo said calmly. "The difference is that I learned something you never did." Veltar charged again, his massive form moving with surprising speed. But Kim Woo was ready. At the last possible moment, Kim Woo ducked under the alien's swing and drove his cybernetic fist into Veltar's chest. The impact cracked the commander's armor and sent him staggering backward. "What did you learn?" Veltar gasped. Kim Woo looked toward the school windows where his classmates were watching. Park Hana, Nam Ta, Choi Mira, Lee Jun, all of them believing in him. "I learned that fighting for something you love makes you stronger than fighting for conquest," Kim Woo replied. He raised his plasma rifle and fired 3 precise shots. The first disabled Veltar's weapon. The second destroyed his communication device. The third punched through his chest armor and dropped the massive alien to his knees. Commander Veltar looked up at Kim Woo with dying eyes. "Impossible. I had superior numbers, better weapons. You had everything except what mattered most, Kim Woo said quietly. You had no one worth protecting. Veltar collapsed and did not move again. The remaining Zephyrian soldiers threw down their weapons when they saw their commander defeated. Without leadership, their attack fell apart completely. In the distance, Kim Woo could hear the sound of Earth defense ships landing around the school. The cavalry had finally arrived. His classmates poured out of the building and surrounded him. Park Hannah reached him first, her eyes bright with tears of relief. You did it, she said. You actually did it. Kim Woo smiled tiredly. We did it. All of us together. Nam Ta looked around at the defeated alien soldiers. I cannot believe we fought off an entire invasion force. Not an invasion force, Kim Woo corrected. A revenge squad. They came here specifically for me. Choi Mira approached with a serious expression. The news crews are already arriving. This story is going to spread across the entire galaxy. Kim Woo nodded. He knew that his quiet life as a transfer student was over. Everyone would know who he really was now. But maybe that was not such a bad thing. Principal Yang arrived with the Earth defense troops. He looked around at the destroyed school and the alien bodies scattered across the courtyard. Kim Woo, he said in amazement. What exactly happened here? Before Kim Woo could answer, Park Hannah stepped forward. Our classmate saved all our lives, she said proudly. He taught us how to be brave when everything seemed hopeless. Mrs. Song nodded in agreement. This young man is a hero. We owe him everything. Even Lee Jun spoke up. Kim Woo showed us what real strength looks like. Not bullying weaker people but protecting them. Kim Woo felt overwhelmed by their support. For 3 years he had felt alone, carrying the weight of war memories by himself. Now he had friends who understood what he had sacrificed. The news reporters interviewed everyone who had been in the school during the attack. The story of the legendary ghost of Kepler 442 bits returning to save his high school classmates spread across human space within hours. But Kim Woo was not interested in fame. He was more interested in the changes he saw in his fellow students. Nam Tai was no longer the scared boy who got picked on by bullies. He walked with confidence and helped younger students who were struggling. Lee Jun had completely changed his behavior. Instead of bullying others, he became a protector who made sure no student felt alone or afraid. Park Hannah organized support groups for students dealing with trauma from the attack. She had discovered a talent for leadership that she never knew she possessed. Choi Mira used her scientific knowledge to help rebuild the school's damaged laboratories. But more importantly, she had gained real-world experience that no textbook could provide. And Mrs. Song treated Kim Woo not as a strange transfer student, but as the young man who had risked everything to save her and her other students. 2 weeks after the attack, Kim Woo was walking through the temporary classrooms that had been set up while the school was being rebuilt. Students greeted him with genuine warmth and respect. Choi Mira fell into step beside him as he headed to lunch. So, she said with a smile, have you thought about what you want to do after graduation? Kim Woo considered the question. Before the attack, he had been drifting without purpose. The war was over, but he had not known how to live in peace. Now he understood. I think I'd want to be a teacher, he said. Choi Mira looked surprised. A teacher, not a soldier. I have been a soldier, Kim Woo replied. Now I want to help young people discover their own strength. The way my classmates helped me discover mine. They entered the cafeteria where Park Hannah and Nam Tai were saving seats for them. Lee Jun waved them over to join his table as well. As Kim Woo sat down with his friends, he realized that he had finally found what he had been searching for since the war ended. He had found his place in the world. Not as the ghost of Kepler 442 bits, not as a legendary warrior, but as Kim Woo, a young man who had learned that the greatest battles are not fought on distant planets against alien enemies. The greatest battles are fought every day in ordinary places by ordinary people who refuse to give up on each other. Kim Woo looked around the table at his friends and smiled. His war was finally over, and his real life was just beginning.